How y'all doing, Pokemon? This is Hedgehogs and Encouraging Bones. The PowerPoint Gamer here, and I'm very excited to be back doing this kind of video where I stand in front of a camera and actually stand. I don't know what it is, it's just something that when I stand I feel a lot more energized. It's weird. Anyway, I'm going back to this for a little bit, see how it works. If you guys like it, then I'll stick with this. If you guys don't like it, then, well, we won't stick with this, but I'm doing this again, so that's that out of the way real quick. And let's talk about Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces, we have seen barely anything about this game. We've seen a trailer back in Comic-Con last year. We got a new trailer earlier at South by Southwest that confirmed the title for the game. And we got a bit of gameplay and the main theme also from South by Southwest. And just recently, there was a Nintendo Switch Direct yesterday, and there's going to be a video about that tomorrow. And yeah, so there was a Nintendo Switch Direct yesterday. It was on the Switch, the 3DS, Splatoon 2, and ARMS. And all of those things were, you know, it was a great thing. And then part of the Switch part was actually the Sonic Forces. And I can't tell you how weird it felt. Like, I wasn't alive back when the whole Sega Nintendo thing was going on, but I've seen, like, the ads and stuff, and I've seen how much people get, like, fired up over their preferred console, you know, SNES or Genesis. So, excuse me. It's really funny to think that Nintendo was like praising Sonic, like the dude who was talking over all the headlines was actually praising Sonic the Hedgehog. So it was just really funny to see, knowing their weird history. And we also got a bit of new gameplay yesterday. We got like 2 seconds of classic Sonic gameplay. And with that comes the main point of this video. Sonic Forces has some issues that we really need to discuss. If you don't already know, Sonic Forces is a game coming out this holiday season, which is going to have Sonic, modern Sonic, with boost gameplay, the quick step, stomping, and etc. And classic Sonic gameplay, which is a 2D styled Sonic like the older classic games, in which he travels left and right on the screen and uses the spin dash and jumps on enemies. He does not have the homing attack, he doesn't have the boost, quick step, stomp, or I'm trying to think what else modern Sonic has. He can jump. That's about it. He spin dashes and jumps. That's what classic Sonic has in Sonic Forces. And then there's supposed to be a third character who is apparently going to be very important to the story. So, why am I telling you this? Well, after the first trailer, like the teaser back in Comic-Con last year, dropped for Sonic Forces, then titled Project Sonic 2017, that trailer got a lot of mixed reactions. And even more recently, after seeing that trailer again with the title, there have been even more videos talking about these problems. And I thought, after listening to some of these, and after looking at the trailers on my own, after looking at the gameplay on my own, I think I need to address them as well, for all of my audience that hasn't already seen this. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a huge fan of the 2D classic Sonic gameplay. I think the best Sonic game so far has been Unleashed. Like, I like the whole ride, including the Werehog. Some people think I'm weird for that, but I love the Werehog, and the modern Sonic gameplay was just phenomenal in that game. And what I really appreciated about that was when modern Sonic was in 3D, he was boosting, quick stepping, and stomping, air boosting, whatever, light speed dash, etc., etc. But when he wasn't in 3D, he was going a lot slower. So it was a seamless transition. It went from 3D, where it was mostly all about speed and keeping the speed going by reacting quickly. And the 2D sections was where it would transition into the 2D very smoothly, and that would be where the main platforming of that platformer resided. Now, I love that, and in Generations, they sort of did it a little differently. In Generations, and this is really where this whole argument begins, Classic Sonic was reintroduced as a 20th anniversary character. To celebrate the 20th anniversary of Sonic, they had Modern Sonic and Classic Sonic teaming up. Now, a lot of people, when they saw that, they thought, okay, so does that mean we're going to get fully 3D Modern Sonic stages again? Which was untrue. Which, to a certain extent, I'm a little bit okay with that. Because of what I mentioned earlier about how the main platforming areas were really in the 2D section. But here's the thing. Ever since Generations, because Classic Sonic has come back, it renders Modern Sonic's 2D sections redundant. And I entirely understand that argument. And I support that argument. Because it just doesn't make sense. Why would you have a completely 2D character in a game and have him, play through? And then switch to a 3D character and have him play through, but like halfway through most of his stages, it goes to 2D. You already have pretty much half the game was in 2D for Classic Sonic. So by having by having like 2D sections in Modern Sonic gameplay, you're kind of rendering the whole game a little down on my list. It's not you're basically kind of making it redundant to play the Modern Sonic gameplay, even though you have to beat the game. So that's where that whole argument starts. And in Sonic Forces, they're bringing Classic Sonic back again. Why? I mean, it's supposed to kind of be like a 25th anniversary continuation, and I guess that's fine. But it's not the greatest, because Modern Sonic got confirmed to have 2D sections in his gameplay, and then Classic Sonic is going to be entirely 2D. So it brings up that redundancy issue again. But the main problem I have with Classic Sonic coming back is not the fact that it's going to be a redundant effect of having the 2D sections in 3D Modern Sonic. My issue with bringing Classic Sonic back is that it doesn't really send a message of confidence. Think about it. Through all of the games of Modern Sonic gameplay, we have not gotten a single game that has been all about 3D boosting. There's no game about boosting the 3D game that has boosting in it that has been allowed to stand on its own. So seriously, think about it. Sonic Unleashed, it had the Werehog. Sonic Colors, while it didn't have any other gameplay gimmick, 80% of the game was 2D, and the 3D sections were just open linear curves. And Sonic Generations had Classic Sonic, and now Forces is bringing back Classic Sonic and another playable character. That's not really exuding confidence. And seriously, through especially Unleashed and Generations, less of Colors, but to a certain extent Colors, Sonic Team has proved to the consumers that they know how to make a boosting gameplay Sonic. Like, the gameplay in Unleashed is really fun. The gameplay in Generations is really fun. So Sonic Team has showed that they know how to create boost gameplay games. And yet, despite that, they're still somehow trying to bring Classic Sonic back, either A, to pad out gameplay time, or B, because they're not confident in their boost gameplay material. So that's my main issue with Classic Sonic coming back, is that it doesn't really show confidence in their brand. If you really want to understand what I'm saying more, this same point has been made by another YouTuber. If you look up on YouTube, Sonic Forces, The Problems We Are Ignoring, in the YouTube search bar, if you put in Sonic Forces, the problems we are ignoring, it should be one of the first 2 videos that come up. Another issue that I'm seeing here is the Wisps. The Wisps were originally introduced in colors and have been in every single subsequent 3D Sonic game. They've been in Generations and Lost World. Boom doesn't really count because I don't really consider it a Sonic game. So it's been in every subsequent Sonic game. It's been in Lost World and Generations. And in colors, the Wisps were a gimmick, yes, but they were not a forced gimmick. The Wisps were just to unlock extra pathways and red rings that colors introduced. So it's not it was worked in different in colors. And in Generations, the Wisps were only in like one stage, Planet Wisp. They were in Planet Wisp. There was I think Rocket and Spike were the only 2 Wisps that were present in that game. And in Lost World, Sonic Team just created a whole barrage of Wisps, and none of them were really necessary or fun. But the problem that I have with Wisps reappearing in Forces is not the fact that they're reappearing. My problem with the Wisps being in the game is that because the Wisps are in the game, the boost is going to most likely be limited by the Wisps. And I understand that a lot of people, if you watch Some Call Me Johnny's Sonic Colors video, his review, you'll see that some people do like that way of handing the boost to you. Instead of every time you collect rings and defeat enemies, you get the boost meter built up. Instead, you get boost Wisp capsules and you can use the boost. And some people do like that. Personally, I don't. By giving you Wisp capsules of the boost, by giving you boost Wisp capsules, it's limiting where you can use the boost. And that's not really fun. In 3D, think about it, in colors in 3D, if you wanted, you could just run. You didn't have to use the boost. Whereas, and that's not exactly a great place to show it because the 3D section, whatever. But when you use the boost in 3D, you can. If you don't want to, you can. But it was limiting you as to where you could as long as you had that boost. You couldn't get it from wherever you wanted. Whereas in Unleashed and Generations, you get it from rings and defeating enemies, which is how I think it should work. So having that limit on there kind of forces linearity as to where you can use the boost and where you can't. Another issue that I have with this game is that Green Hill is coming back, or at least a Green Hill clone. Practically every single Sonic game has had a Green Hill. In original Sonic it was Green Hill, in Sonic 2 it was Emerald Hill, in Sonic 3 it was like Angel Island and Mushroom Hill, and in Sonic Adventure 2 there was actually a 3D playable Green Hill if you 100% the game. In Sonic Heroes there was Seaside Hill, and in Sonic Generations there was Green Hill. It was just a Green Hill remake in that game, and we're getting it again in Forces, and it's so annoying. In Lost World there was Windy Hill. That's the one I forgot. And we're getting Green Hill again. There have been so many Green Hill clones in Sonic games, and it's time to stop, Sega. Not to be Michael Jordan. I think that's Michael Jordan at least. But it's time to stop. Like I said earlier with Classic Sonic coming back in Forces, it kind of doesn't exude confidence in your brand material. By reusing and rehashing the exact same stage over and over, you're not playing on nostalgia anymore, you're just saying that you've run out of ideas. To paraphrase a quote from Mad Men, nostalgia is delicate but potent. If you use it delicately, then it is very potent. Say, Green Hill and Classic Sonic being Sonic Generations after years and years of not having a Classic Sonic game. But if you keep using it over and over and over and over again, such as Green Hill in the last 25 years of Sonic, then it gets really boring. It loses its potency. And that's about it, guys. That's all I have for this video. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. Comment below, do you agree or disagree with any of the points that I made in this video? Or do you agree? And tell me how hyped you are for Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces as well. And subscribe to get alerts when new videos come out, and hit the bell to actually get notifications. Just hitting subscribe will just put me on your homepage on desktop and put me in your subscription feed on mobile. And share with your friends about bad YouTubers such as myself. So guys, in short, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I am the Powerpuff Gamer. My lights are out. Feels good to do this standing up again.